And again, here we are, 26th day of personal transformation. Today we're doing James Allen As Man Thinketh, Chapter 7, Serenity. This has personal use for me, which probably a particular instance of this, as we'll get to it, started off this whole research cycle and drove it for many years and still has an undercurrent that continues. A key point he covers in this, a quote I'd like to read, is a man becomes calm in the measure that he understands himself as a thought-evolved being. For such knowledge necessitates the understanding of others as the result of thought. As he develops a right understanding and sees more and more clearly the internal relations of things by the action of cause and effect, he ceases to fuss and fume and worry and grieve, and remains poised, steadfast, serene. He continues, the calm man, having learned how to govern himself, knows how to adapt himself to others, and they in turn reverence his spiritual strength and feel that they can learn of him and rely upon him. The more tranquil a man becomes, the greater is his success. Now this is quite interesting. I was thinking this thing really picked up some speed here, because he talks about achievement, then he talks about thought factor achievement, then he talks about visions and ideals. And through those chapters, he's rather aggressive in saying, go and get it, get out there and decide what you're going to do, and then get all your strength and power and everything, go to it. And then all of a sudden he turns this corner and hits serenity straight in the face. Now, this is really quite interesting to run back across this again. After all this time, where I ran into it, my own personal story was out walking in the woods, and with the two family dogs one day here on vacation at the family farm. And all of a sudden all thought dropped away for what seemed like a long period of time, which was really only a few minutes, but it was such a deafening silence you could hear the birds, the wind, things moving, but there wasn't any thought taking a huge, swath out of my existence. I wasn't constantly agitating, thinking, figuring things out, reconnecting things. It was just quiet. It was peace. It was peace of mind. I'd finally recognized this. And of course, then I realized that all the counseling and training and the spiritual studies I'd done up to that point were not preparing me to find what I just found, and that I'd been looking for that my entire life and hadn't known it. Needless to say, shortly after that, I managed to retire myself from the whole 20-plus year career out there and return to the family farm to figure out what the hell I just run into. And in these studies, I found that on and on and on, these things started coming together after a while. Okay, this route led, of course, through Go Thunk Yourself and those books, writing those and researching. Then I kept running into Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale in the early 50s did the first gold recording of the spoken word called The Strangest Secret. And in that transcript, or in the tape, I made a transcript of it. It was actually a long playing, at that time it was a 78 RPM LP. However, he mentioned an author called Claude Bristol who wrote Magic of Believing. Now, when I just continued my studies and picked up that book and started reading that, Bristol told of an instance where he ran into that particular situation, where it's just, some people describe it differently. Some people feel like they're surrounded with light or blinded with an immense presence or an immense calm or peace. He ran into that type of situation, or his own version of it, and he had studied a book by Richard Maurice Buck called Cosmic Consciousness, and that was written and published in 1901. And that explains, and Buck ran into this huge thing, and he did an immense study of it. Immense study. His book's still available. But it's this whole point that when you calm your mind, and we've gone over that, and go thunk yourself up at this point, seeking the silence, as Charles Hannell talks about it, where you sit down daily and just simply relax, sit and do nothing. And just, really that's it. As you calm the mind and you develop this as a skill, and I mentioned this in earlier days of this transformation, that you'll be able to, as this chapter covers, you'll have an inner strength that's unstoppable, that you can't be messed with. It's a choice you now have. And so you'll see that peace of mind is a native ability that people are born with, that they can have manifested anytime they want, anytime, all the time, partial of the time, any stressful situation. They can actually take this and go, okay. Nightingale himself was known for this calm, cheerful expectancy, which he prescribed in this Strangest Secret, to do a 30-day challenge down this line, and to meet all your opportunities, all your difficulties or situations with the same calm, cheerful expectancy. And there's a great deal of study. There's a lot of comparisons with this. But I just want to say that this is a line that's coming right through the core of this, which is rather fascinating to me. I hope it is as much to you. That you can have peace of mind, any personal calm, strength, rock solid, stable aspect towards life anytime you want, as long as you want, with any amount of strength you want to have. It's native. And all you have to do is learn how to calm yourself, to calm your mind, to seek the silence, to stay focused on nothing or anything. Okay? Thanks.